Hi, I'm Paul Begley. We've got a strange disease outbreak. It started, and it's a superbug, and it's originating out of India, but there's some scientists and different doctors that are afraid this thing may have already been here, which makes it more of a global potential epidemic. I mean, just a moment here. It's disturbing news. It's disturbing news. Quickly, I'll just give you a quick information here. It says here that St. Paul, Minnesota, there's been more than 24 cases involving highly drug-resistant bacteria that have been reported in Minnesota in the last year and a half. But these are not the same so-called superbugs that originated in India that have sickened several patients in the United States. But Minnesota health officials say that this bacteria found here are just as worrisome as to point out the need for changes in how antibiotics are used in humans and in the food supply. Now here's the kill. Earlier this week, health officials reported that there's 3 people who were sickened by bacteria containing a new highly mobile gene that makes the microorganisms resistant to most antibiotics. All of the patients have received medical care in India, where resistance to antibiotics is very common. Now, wait a minute. The state dermatologist Ruth Linfield has known about this U.S. cases since June. It's nice that she's just now letting us know about it. But when the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention first warned public health officials about the problem, so this superbug, which they say is actually in the food, has already affected people now in 3 states. Illinois, can't remember the other 2 states, but it's kind of spreading around. But the question is, when you have a bacteria, everyone knows that the antibiotics will superpower or juice up the system to give us the give our immune system the kick it needs to knock out a severe case of bacteria in the system. What's really concerning to everybody is if all of a sudden there's this new strain, a new super gene, a new superbug that we can't get a handle on. You have to realize when you have 7 billion people in the world, the last thing you need is some kind of new bubonic plague to break out. I remember in 1918, of course that's before I was born, but my great grandmother died in the flu of 1918. She was one of them that died. And I remember my grandmother telling me about when her mother passed away and how the coffins, and in Chicago they had wagons, and literally every day these wagons would go down the streets and they would carry out these coffins and put them, just stack them high, getting the bodies out of there. Just tremendous catastrophe that hit the world. A third of the world died in 1918 from the flu. Can you imagine if now, after science thinks it's evolved to the point that we can beat anything, a new superbug growing in the food supply all of a sudden would start affecting people and antibiotics couldn't knock it out? Are we nearing the end? You go read Matthew 24. It talks about the famines, but it talks about pestilence. It talks about diseases. Let's get a handle on this thing. Let's study this thing out. I'm Paul Begley. Got to do more research.